my name is Raghav and today I want to talk about The King of Staten Island. The King of Staten Island is a 2020 American comedy drama film directed by Judd Apatow and follows a young man who's trying to get his life together after his mom starts dating a new man who, like his deceased father, is a firefighter. The film has been called a semi-autobiographical take on Pete Davidson's life, who lost his firefighter father during the September 11 attacks, and he's had his own battles with depression. This is a really solid movie with good writing, strong direction, and a tight edit and great real performances. All the main cast is pitch perfect with one exception, and I'll get to that later. The film is heartfelt and mature, and it takes itself very seriously, but it's also really funny. And that's a testament to the directing and the dialogue. Every single comedian who is anyone in the New York area has a cameo in this movie, and they're all really funny. But it's the main cast that really pulls all the biggest laughs. As most of Judd Apatow's films, this one also has an improvisational tone, and you can tell with the delivery of the dialogues that a lot of times they're coming up with these lines on the spot. And it really works because you get real reactions from the rest of the cast, and it helps sell the realism of the film. But unlike most of Apatow's films, which deal with man-children and men acting childishly for no reason, and the rest of the cast just tolerating and really indulging their permanent adolescence as charming or whimsical, and us, the audience, having to like them because they're played by likable actors, this, although still following the same archetype, it's a more mature film. The main character is not particularly likable, and he's acting like a grade A asshat. And although he has a real reason for his behavior, the film doesn't make any excuses for him. I mean, as much as a film can without destroying its protagonist. It's not full-fledged realism in the sense of real-world consequences of his actions. It's still, a coming-of-age movie. So he has to get forgiven by everyone and suddenly grow up and all that stuff. And it's uplifting and it's fine. It's okay if our stories are hopeful and not nihilistic. What I like is his behavior is not played off as, oh, he's just in touch with his inner child or some bullshit like that. People are constantly questioning his selfishness and unwillingness to get his shit together, and this is important. They're not villainized for that, and that's a breath of fresh air. Pete Davidson is a very specific actor. He can only ever play different versions of himself. So needless to say, he's kind of perfect for the role. He brings realness and depth to the performance, and it makes you love and hate him at the same time. You're kind of rooting for him because of his past, but you're also sickened by the way he treats the people around him. It's a real conflicting experience, and it keeps you engaged. Marisa Tomei, as always, is great. She's doing an amazing job of playing a mother who is barely keeping it together for the sake of her children, and she gets to be really funny in this movie, and that's just fun to watch. Her look is also amazing, and it's so starkly different from her Aunt May character from the Spiderman movies, which is also another New York-based character, and it's good to see how one actor can really embody different people from different backgrounds and genres. It's just a cool thing. Bill Burr is just hilarious. He's really flexing his comedy muscles here, and that comically huge mustache is just another punchline on the whole thing. He does have a moment where he quietly shows the strength and bravery that goes into being a firefighter. It's all physical and done beautifully, and a lot of the credit has to go to the cinematographer, Robert Elswit, for covering it so wonderfully, with controlled mid to wide shots that feel like Pete Davidson's point of view as he watches Bill Burr methodically work his way through a burning building. Bel Powley as Pete's lover is wonderful. This is such a different role than the previous stuff I've seen her in, and she's being so charming and likable and great, and I really like her in this role. She was really sweet and heartfelt, and you really felt the conflict of her emotions. Maude Apatow, Judd Apatow's daughter, plays the role of Pete's sister, and man, she is totally miscast. It just doesn't work. Her performance feels very stiff, and a lot of times it feels like she's reading lines off the page. And a lot of times it also feels like the lines that she's been given, like the improv lines, she's just not got the experience to pull them off convincingly. She's not a bad actress. I've seen her in other stuff where her performance totally works, but it just misses the mark here, and it sticks out like a sore thumb when everyone else is doing such a stellar job. The rest of the cast is also super strong, but Lou Wilson's character is my favorite in this movie. For my D&D fans out there, he's one of the main cast of Dimension 20's D&D games, and he's amazing in that too, so I was already rooting for him in this movie. He only has a few scenes, but man does he steal the show in each of them, especially when he goes on a little rant about how Pete's terrible tattooing skills have affected his life. He really knocks it out of the park. Also, using Kid Cudi's Pursuit of Happiness as an anthem, it was just such a good choice. I mean, that song really puts you in a mood, man, and the use of it just ties the whole thing together. Overall, this is a really good movie with some really good performances, and it's definitely worth checking out.